Hi, Professor Aarons. This is Tanisha Hartlove from the class of 2002, wishing you congratulations on your award. I know that it is very well deserved. When I entered the law school back in 1999 as a 1L, I was very afraid. Like I'm sure most 1Ls are, not knowing what to expect of law school. My first impression of you, though, was that, wow, this is a professor who is really dedicated to his work. You came into class every day with passion and enthusiasm, unlike any professor I'd ever had the pleasure of being a student under. I want to say thank you so much for your years of service, and I know that you are still teaching with that same passion and enthusiasm that you did back in 1999. Congratulations.
Brooklyn Sawyer's class of 2006, and I'm now on the adjunct faculty of the law school. Professor Aarons means a lot to many of us, but my favorite memory involves first-year exams for his civil procedure course. He handed out the exams. When I received mine, I looked at every page, front and back, and I didn't recognize a single topic. I panicked. I wondered, could this be a joke? I looked around the room and no one else had ran from their seat. So I worked on mine and I completed it. I'll never forget that moment. Professor Aarons, always the hardest professor around, yet the favorite of many. We love you, Professor Aarons. Congratulations.
Professor Aarons has encouraged me, not through anything he's necessarily said, but just through the subject matter of his classes and the amount of passion that he brings to them to continue down the line of trying to pursue and help solve the social issues in this country, particularly within criminal justice. So eventually I would like to end up as a litigator within the criminal justice system.
My senior year of high school, I interned with a solo practitioner who mostly did criminal law, and I decided then and there that I just hated it and I wanted nothing to do with it. So after taking crim law with him 1L year first semester, I found myself, when I had to read for classes, that was always the first class that I wanted to read for, and I didn't know why. And I always found myself in tune every class. Like, my mind wasn't just wandering thinking about what I was going to eat for lunch or dinner that day. And I was like, wait a second, I think I really like this class, and I know it has to be the professor because I decided a long time ago this wasn't the field for me. So after I took that class, I was just super gung-ho about all things criminal, and I still am, and till this day. So he definitely impacted what I want to do in the future, which is to be a public defender.
I'll always remember Professor Aarons' class, and I'll always remember it fondly. And one of the things in his class, he was so passionate about criminal law that it was almost like you were watching a performance. And he would get up in front of the class, and he was just pouring his heart out and pouring everything that he had out in that moment. And whenever he would ask you a question, like, he was really driving the conversation through that back and forth with you. And I remember one day it felt like he was sticking with me for, it feels like a year whenever you're under questioning by Professor Aarons. But I remember his class was starting to wind down, and he'd been talking to me for 40 minutes probably. And he kind of got this little crooked smile on his face, and he asked me one last question, which was really tough, and he knew it was hard too. And I remember I kind of fumbled with it, and he kind of gave me that little look like, I got you, and he was able to explain and I, educate the entire class through that back and forth. And whenever that time comes that I have children, and whenever they come to the College of Law, or whenever they ask me about my time at law school, I'll get a little crooked smile on my face too, just like Professor Aarons, and I'll say, there was this guy named Dwight Aarons, and I'll tell them the story of my first day of criminal law and the impact that he's made in my life.